All right, you can catch that full interview on our website. We have it here on www.ktnews.com. Well, on to our next news item. Well, Prudential has officially opened its Africa regional headquarters in Nairobi from London in a bid to consolidate its presence on the continent. The underwriters sees demand for insurance growing across Africa, where the population is expected to double to more than 2 billion by 2050. The continent has an insurance penetration rate of about 2.7% within East Africa, creating enough headroom for Prudential to tap into the market.
The journey began in Ghana in 2013. At the present time, we have businesses in 8 countries. We have 10 separate businesses. We're in a range of African countries, from West to Central to East Africa, in Ghana, Kenya, Uganda, Zambia, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, and Togo.
Today also marks an important development in the evolution of our financial sector, not just for Kenya, but indeed in the region. And when we talk about the region, we talk about East Africa, we also bring in Central Africa. So we are honored that Prudential has chosen Nairobi to be the hub for its African strategic focus. And I want to say we are indeed very committed to facilitate these noble ambitions, and we consider this to be mutually beneficial.
And in fact, insurance is the behind-the-scenes factor driving growth at all levels of society, from family life to massive infrastructure projects to technology development. And by managing the negative impact of unexpected shocks, insurance helps relieve pressure on the state. It helps support entrepreneurial activities. It underpins social resilience by enabling access to credit, pensions, healthcare, and that all-important education.
We are going to have to demonstrate how Kenya is going to gain from creating this new environment. We are going to show how Kenya will benefit from offering the incentives that we're going to offer through the NFC. We're going to have to attract investment that not only builds the economy, but also creates employment.
Well, I'm still staying with matters investment, and Brenda Kirubo had a sit-down with Nick Holder, the Chief Operating Officer for Africa. She began by asking him why Prudential picked Kenya as its Africa regional headquarters.
Of course, there are 54 countries in Africa. We were very determined to move our head office for Africa from London, where it's been since the start-up of our operations in the recent decade, and we wanted to move it closer to the markets and the customers that we have here. Now, we considered a number of countries in making that decision, and I guess some of the criteria that we considered and evaluated included the availability of highly skilled and educated people. Obviously, Kenya scores well in that regard. We were looking for somewhere that's very well connected. Now, of course, a number of organizations, including, for example, the United Nations, are based here for Africa, particularly because of its connections with the rest of the continent. And we were looking for a country that was forward-thinking enough to allow us to set up a true Africa regional center. And that means that we need to be able to recruit people from different countries around Africa. So we have an office where we have 7 or 8 different African countries represented. In fact, I'm the only person located here in the office in Kenya who doesn't have an African passport. Of course, the majority of people are Kenyan, and that brings sort of employment opportunities in a multinational to Kenya, but we also have the opportunity to represent all the countries. So this is a true African centre.
Where are you seeing opportunities when it comes to insurance? Where exactly do you want to be concentrated in?
Okay, well, what we found in Prudential, and we've worked in a number of countries around the world, is it's really important to know each market. So we can't just say there's 1 or 2 things that we'll do that will be successful in every country. For example, in West Africa, there's a big cultural interest in policies around funeral plans. In Kenya, the interest is more perhaps around medical expenses, around education plans. So one of the benefits of moving the head office here is it allows us to get closer to the markets, to understand what people want market by market, country by country, and that will allow us to create better products and products that have a higher demand from our customers.
Insurance penetration in Africa remains extremely low. Is this something that you definitely want to exploit?
Definitely. I mean, we see that as an opportunity. What we see if we look around the world is that as countries naturally become wealthier, people start to think more about the long term, about savings. They like to think about what happens to their children, what happens if they have maybe a medical emergency. And as the countries become wealthier, and we know Africa's been experiencing some very high economic growth rates, they will naturally purchase more insurance. So that's going to happen anyway. But what we hope we can do in Prudential is that we can bring that expertise, that understanding of different product solutions that work in different countries and have different unmet needs, and we can bring that and we can grow faster than the market, also increasing the insurance penetration. What I'm really pleased to share is that in each of the 8 markets that we're currently in Africa, we've been able to grow faster than the market, and I think that's a sign, that we will be able to bring value to these markets, and also that we will be able to increase the insurance penetration across the continent.
And when you look at the opportunities around the pandemic, Prudential has experience in covering the World War, even Titanic. How exactly is it positioning itself in relation to COVID? Has it created new products in line with this?
Okay, so a lot of customers were very worried when COVID began. I mean, like everyone, we've all been affected by the global pandemic. And what Prudential did was it took a number of steps to try and protect the position of our policyholders, our customers. So they included putting in place special arrangements in some countries where policyholders were finding it hard to make their regular premium because we wanted them to maintain their coverage. And what we also made clear is, just as in those world wars, we had the right to waive cover because it was an exceptional circumstance. We had clauses in some of our products that allowed us to not cover pandemic, but that wasn't acceptable to us. So we voluntarily, in every market that we operate, waived any exclusions relating to pandemics to make sure that we are offering coverage for COVID. Yes, we have also designed some specific products in some of our markets for COVID cover, and often these are available for relatively cheap premiums as well.
So you're coming onto the continent that has a lot of underwriters. So what gives Prudential a competitive advantage?
I think what we can bring that perhaps will help us in the continent is particularly our digital technology. We've invested a lot of money recently in our digital solutions. We have a customer-facing app called Pulse, which is our health and wellness app. It's designed to really help our customers. It includes facilities such as the policy administration that you might expect, but it goes much wider than that. It includes advice on well-being, on things like meal plans, and even some medical advice for people who are perhaps not quite sure if they need to go to the doctor. They may be able to get advice online or through telemedicine, depending on the different markets and the facilities that we have available. We also bring a wide range of product experience from different countries with different levels of development and different customer needs. We can bring all that from our toolbox, if you like, and bring that to the different markets of Africa. And of course, we do have a lot of actuaries and a lot of data, and of course, with underwriting, that all helps as well. The more that you can understand the population that you're insuring, and I think we have the expertise, the systems, and the data to allow us to do that. So I'm very confident, and I do keep coming back to those growth rates in those 8 markets that we're in already. We have the track record of demonstrating that we can grow faster than the market.
So it's about a month since you arrived in Kenya. What's so special? What have you learned? Any food that you have particular that is your favorite?
Oh, well, I'm very much enjoying being in Kenya. I did make one mistake when I arrived, which, thinking it was on the equator like my previous posting in Jakarta, I only brought shorts with me, and of course I arrived in the middle of the Kenyan winter and it was 12 degrees, so I suffered a little bit then. But since then the weather has improved dramatically. I find the people really friendly. It's wonderful for the first time in over a decade to be working in a country where the first language of many people is English. It's very easy to communicate and to understand the local culture, history and customs. Really enjoy the wide range of food here. The dishes of Kenya are interesting. I've tried, is it Kenjaji chicken? The chicken stew. I particularly enjoyed eating that. But I also appreciate the openness and the multiculturalness of Kenya. I've really enjoyed travelling to Watamu and having Italian gelato on the coast. I really enjoyed going to Parklands and having a really good curry. So the diversity and inclusion of Kenya is wonderful.
Thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait